Hi everyone, welcome to Vividh. Vividh is a platform to chronicle journeys of social entrepreneurs, people who are working in social impact space, and eventually communities who are imagining transformation within their sphere. The idea is to look at different vantage points, viewpoints, and how they are imagining social change. And today we have our first guest, Sahil Sameer, who has founded Opengrad Foundation. Good to start with you. Like, what does Opengrad Foundation does?
Thanks a lot for inviting me to the first episode of Vividh and wishing you all the best. With the podcast and the future of the podcast. So regarding Opengrad Foundation, we call it India's first no-cost community-powered entrance coaching platform. But I don't think people get a lot from the word. No-cost community-powered entrance, because community and entrance has not been talking together in the country.
Right.
But what we do, it's like, so we provide entrance coaching basically, along with mentorship, counseling, and a lot of other things. But we do that with the help of community. So we make the students who have cracked into tier 1 colleges like the IITs, like the IIMs, like the national law universities and other top central universities, volunteer their time and efforts, come to a platform and teach the students, mostly from the underserved communities, to crack the entrances. Now, what it essentially does, it's like, say, when you're going to a formal coaching institution and you are getting the coaching from there, you will be mostly taught by a very experienced faculty, and the quality of content might be way superior than what we are providing, maybe. But the thing is, in entrances, it's always there's a relatability factor. Say it's not about the quality of the content you are getting. The people who are watching this might be able to relate if they have tried their hands in any of the entrance examination. It's about the right mindset. You always feel like quitting. You always feel like crying. You take a mock, you get like say 0 marks, and you feel like, no, this is not meant for me. You feel like a lot other people from the country are taking the same examination, so I won't be able to make it. So this is where a mentor comes into picture. So we are having, so every 3 students in Opengrad Foundation are tied up with a mentor who has cracked the same entrance, say 1 or 2 years back. So whenever they are feeling going through a low phase, they always have a mentor from the community who have cracked the same entrance examination, telling them it's okay. I have also been in this place and you can do it. So this is what we do. We have a technology front. We are a community first organization and we are also a tech first organization. So we are all using this through our online tech platform, which hosts all the video lectures, mock tests, and practice questions, all the solutions. And we also do the mentor-mentee connect and whatever interactions happen between the mentor and mentee using the same technology. So the access to our resources or services are only limited to the people who can access internet. Anyone who is having access to internet can access all the content out there. So we are trying to democratize, just like how Wikipedia has democratized access to, say, knowledge and information, like how Khan Academy has done a revolutionary model of democratizing access to a lot of education resources. We wanted to do the same thing with Indian entrance examinations. So yeah, that's what we do.
But so tell me this, for anybody who is preparing for coaching exams and any community,
Yeah.
they might already have access to free YouTube content, free resources. Like there's so much. Like, what does a value add open grad content brings? And then we can talk about the mentors also. But like right now, what is the content value add for the community?
So you talk about YouTube, say, forget entrances, say, we all have experienced this. We start from something, say, we start watching Bollywood songs in Hindi, in YouTube, and then we reach somewhere else. We'll be, say, watching food vlogs and things like that. So there is always this thing that there is no direction when it comes to accessing video streaming platform. You watch one video, you move to something else, and you always get deviated while you are watching content in YouTube or other video streaming platforms. Second, what I have understood, at least from my basic understanding, nobody is posting content in YouTube for free without having any vested interest.
Okay.
I don't know if it will be controversial, but all the people either plug in some sort of promotions, or at the end of a video they say like, okay, now you can pay like 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees to get access to the mock test series. So the intention is always to give a small sneak peek into what is happening in a coaching institution, and then get them enrolled into the coaching platform. Second, for any of the entrances, more than learning, say, I'll tell you, even if you bring in the CBSE national topper or the state national topper, if they do not have any practice for an entrance examination, no matter how much knowledgeable they are, I don't think they'll be able to crack the entrance examination, because entrance, I will say 50% it's about what you learned, and the 50% is about the right mindset, the practice, and also the strategies, which you can only gain through taking a lot of mock tests and analyzing them. This is not something which YouTube can give at this point. So what we give them is it's a correct roadmap. Say, in order to reach from A to B, there can be hundreds of ways to reach from A to B. So we are interacting with the students, allocating them a mentor who is very relatable to them, and the mentor will decide, tell them or suggest them the easiest way to reach from A to B, taking into consideration all their limitations and say their background and things like that. So that's what differentiates us from the free content which is presently available in YouTube, is what we believe.
And who is this the community you're talking about, right? You said, like, so we have this content which is targeted, customized for coaching, but you're also sort of in a way targeting a community, right? Like, you don't want like anybody to come, like you have a community in mind. Can you tell us more about this community you sort of like want to get this content so that they like upskill themselves and get into good colleges? Like, who is this community? What they do? What disadvantages or advantages they have? Like, it'd be great to know about the community.
Yeah. So you're mostly talking about the target community which we are focusing on, right? When you talk about target community, at least from Opengrad Foundation, we are a little flexible on that, to be honest.
Right.
Why? Because, say, mainly we are focusing on underprivileged people from underprivileged background who do not have societal role models. Say, for example, say I myself, so I did my engineering from a normal government college. Then I got into IIM Indore. So why IIM Indore happened is because a lot of my seniors have got into IIM. So I have seen them getting into IIMs from even after getting the kind of exposure which I have got during my college.
Right.
So I have this confidence that, okay, if they can do it, then I can also do it, because they also come from my same background, say similar community, we learn together, things like that. So we want to create such relatable social role models for all these underprivileged communities. And those communities which are now deprived of or not having relatable role models are our main focus. So one of the primary end goal of Opengrad Foundation is also to create, to help people dream bigger. And how they will dream bigger, they need to have access to more role models from their own society. And those are the people who are our primary target. But why I told like we are flexible about that? Say, there are also, so I'll tell you one of my personal experiences. So we were selecting our present batch for the CAT entrance examination, common admission test for CAT 2024. So initially we were doing the screening based on their family income and things like that. And then only we were going through their SOP sort of thing. I mean, why they wanted to join the program. So we removed certain set of candidates who were having an annual income above a certain quantum, a threshold.
Right.
Then one of them whom we rejected got back to us and told like, did you actually go through our application well? And then we again revisited their application and we understood that they're financially well off. But it was a female candidate. She got married at her early age. She's having a lot of issues within her family, abusive husband and things like that. So she badly wanted to go into a premium institution, get into a reputable job and uplift herself. Now, this is why we are not telling like you only if you belong to certain communities or if you belong to certain income brackets, you will be selected to our program. If you are having any specific issues like say, just like the case I just mentioned, then you can join our program. So we do it on a case-to-case basis as well.
So how do you, still the question applies, right? Like, can a privileged person also apply since it's a no-cost coaching platform? How do you like focus that the right people, and you I think mentioned people are writing SOPs, like how do you ensure the right kind of people get the benefit of this coaching, people who need it?
Yeah.
Like, and what is the process to get that? Like, how do you thinking about it? Like, these are the community members. What are your current guidelines on that?
Yeah. So there are two distribution channels mainly for Opengrad Foundation. If you talk about the models we follow, so getting the right access to resources for the underserved communities is definitely one. But we also want to democratize the space in general. Because this is not just a problem faced by the underserved community students, but the toxic culture of entrance coaching industry in general. I mean, I think even the students who come from a lot of privilege from the cities, even with a lot of money, they are they are also suffering from the nature of the industry in general. So one model is where any students, irrespective of their background, so even if you are having crores of money in your bank account, you can come into the platform, you can access the resources, which is like videos, mocks, and practice for free.
Right.
Now that's accessible to all the people, not limited to the students from underserved community. But the mentorship part, it's like exclusive for the students from underserved communities, and we are very clear about that. I mean, we need not waste the time and energy of the volunteers from these tier 1 colleges who are spending their time to invest on someone who can access similar role models even without the help of the platform. So we are having a couple of distribution models which we are still exploring, but one prominent successful model which we have focused is partner nonprofits. So we call them unity partners in Opengrad Foundation. So in India, you tell like there are around 3 million plus nonprofits in the country. You might know the numbers better. I'm not very clear about the numbers. But of these 3 million plus nonprofits, there are a lot of nonprofits who are working in education. Now they are doing all of these things in silos, most of them. And I don't blame them for that. They have separate reason to do that. But our intention is not to reinvent the wheel, but bring all of them together into a platform. Say, for example, I can quote a name, say, it's an example, say Teach for India. Teach for India is a very prominent non-profit in the country who is having access to a lot of students. Now, Teach for India fellows are in a great position to recommend students for Opengrad Foundation's program because they have personally worked with the students. They know the caliber of the students, and they also know who are trainable and who should get access to these free resources. Now, we partner with such non-profits. As of now, we are having around 10 unity partners spread across the country who brings in large quantum of students to our programs. So they take care of the verification because they have personally worked with the students. So we take them into trust. So it's always a trust game.
Right.
Second, I mean, if it's a large nonprofit, so the people who are watching this video, if you are from a nonprofit who is working in the education sector, if you are a small nonprofit working with very limited number of students, then you can say recommend a couple of students for us. We'll take care of them. If you are a large nonprofit having access to say 1,000, 1,500 or 10,000 students or a lakh student for that reason, you can take all the resources which we have built, the mentorship which we are having access to, and the tech which we have built, and implement it in your communities. I mean, we are open to that. The idea is to democratize the landscape, and it's almost like a plug and play. It's out there in the internet. We'll give you a free access. We'll give you an admin dashboard, so they can take it up and they can teach their students. And work collaboratively with us.
Right. So you're saying in a way, create mini coaching centers within your community, sort of like, and you sort of become the sort of like hub for that, and you.
Yeah, I mean, you can also say there are a couple of analogies. We also say that we are a Swiggy for entrances, because on one side or on the demand side, a lot of NGOs who are working in the education space come in. On the other side, supply side, we also bring in a lot of mentors, right? So we are having collaboration with the tier 1 colleges of the country like the IITs, IIMs, NLUs, etc. So volunteers from there comes in one side, and the educational institutions, and thereby the students come on the other side. And we do a matchmaking sort of thing. We are like a Shadi.com.
Right.
We do the matchmaking with the right mentor, with the right mentee sort of thing. Yeah.
So yeah, tell me more about this mentor model. Like, because in a typical coaching setup, we haven't seen a mentor. And why did you feel there was a need for a mentor? Like, what was the trigger or what was the need?
I'll have to go back to my MBA days then.
Right.
So my motivation for starting Opengrad Foundation stems from my MBA days at IIM Indore. So I was training around like 10 students for the CAT entrances.
Okay. While
while I was doing my MBA, I mean 2 years, I was training in the sense I was not getting on a call with them and telling them, okay, study this, this is how we solve this problem. No. But at least weekly, whenever I get time, I just ask them like how it's going. And most of the time they used to call and cry. They used to tell me like, I don't think this is happening. I'm gonna quit this. And the only intervention I have made is like, I used to tell them, trust me, we all have done this. We all have scored low in marks. You just stick on with the process and I'm pretty sure that you will make it. And all 10 got into like top 10, 15 B schools of the country.
Right.
And the only magic, say, people might feel like I'm trying to boast, but I am trying to show a larger picture, which is like when there is that one senior or a mentor who can always cheer for a student, then they can do wonders. The problem is, I mean, you score low on one examination and parents are going to put blame on you. Teachers are going to put blame on you. And for the coaching institutions, it's like they just want some people for their posters. So they figure out in the first 2 weeks of coaching who should be in their posters. And they put all the focus on them. But for the mentors, it's like it's more of a personal connection. So that personal connection and the nudge throughout the process help them crack the entrances. So, I mean, that's when I realized the power of mentorship. I mean, when all these students got into top 10, 15 B schools, I also realized the joy of doing something of this sort. Right. Say, once they got placed in their summer internship in some good companies, they called me and told, like, because of you, I have, say, got a placement in so-and-so company. And once they graduated and say, got a job from reputed places, I was talking to a couple of them. And they were telling like, I was asking them how life has changed. And they told money is obviously one, brand is one. But more than that, now their cousins also want to do something like what they have did.
Right.
Now they have become the societal role model in their family, or at least, if not their community, at least their family. Yeah. So that's when we realized, I mean, this is not something the coaching institutes are offering. Because I have taken coaching myself for the JE as well as for the CAT. But it's always like there will be one teacher who will be standing and they will be delivering.
Right.
So that's like a class teacher model. I mean, you in the schools you have a class teacher, but we want to build someone like a class leader. So the class leader is someone who knows what the students are going through. The class leader knows that, okay, they want a physical education period right now and this it should not be hijacked by a mathematics teacher. So they know that. So that's when they take decisions which are more favorable for the class or the students than a class teacher who are like standing from a different lens and say looking at the students.
So you're saying that coaching is just not coaching of the content and solving problems. It has a component of your attitude, your psychological component, how you think about things, the failures, you like, and I think we all have felt this while coaching. Like, there's always low points. There's like you don't get good marks in mock exams.
Exactly.
Like you need sort of like a partner or an elder brother or elder sister, sort of like to guide you. Like, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that you think it's a critical component.
I would say that's the most important component of Opengrad Foundation, to be honest. Okay. But since the people are not used to a model of that sort, we badly want to market ourselves as an entrance coaching. It's a sad reality. Because only when you go out and say that you are an entrance coaching, people will start believing in you because people are only used to entrance coachings, right? But we are mainly a community focused. We want to build in safe spaces and community spaces where, obviously, as you told, like in the low points that the students will go through, there should be someone for them. And there should be someone who give them genuine advices. The advisors should not be, say, before onboarding the mentors, we give a clear instruction to the mentors during the orientation session that the idea is not whether the student who is allocated to you crack the right entrances.
Okay.
I mean, or get into the top institution. But it's also about what happens through the process. Right. They should feel they have got something out of it. The agency building should happen. They should feel more confident. It should not be. You should not make them feel dumb at the end of it. Say after 2-3 classes, you should not tell them like, okay, you are scoring low on marks, so I don't think you can do this. No. So because we don't have that vested interest and the mentors also do not have the vested interest, and we are not giving any targets to the mentors that, okay, these many students should crack the tier 1 college. No.
Right.
They are like, even if they don't crack the entrance examination, you should keep a check on them, understand what has changed. And we have understood that a lot of things have changed. I'll tell you an example about the course IP Math cohort. So integrated program in management is another integrated UG PG program which is done by the IIMs.
Right.
And IIM Indore was the one who started that. We were training a couple of students last year. Obviously, there are a total of just 150 seats, so not all are gonna make it. But still, of the 25, it was a pilot cohort of 25 students. 4 students made it to the interviews. And now the interviews are going on. I mean, the results are just going to be announced. Hopefully, they'll make it. But what about the rest 21 students? It's very important.
Right.
No coaching institutions will talk about what happened to the students who have not cracked it. They'll be just marketing about the 0.5% of the students who have made it into the posters.
All the coaching same is true.
Exact same thing. I mean, what happened to the achievers? But what happened to the others? That's also something which we are interested in. I mean, we are mostly interested in. And we could understand that definitely, I mean, when they were interacting with the students from, say, the students from IIMs itself, we are training them. So when they were taking the classes, they were taking it from the backdrops of IIM in their hostels. So they now have an idea about what will happen once they get into the college.
Right.
What their hostels are going to look like. They also share information like, so the mentor might tell them like, today I cannot make it for the call because I have a quiz. So now they also know about the quiz structure or the academic curriculum of the college they are aspiring to. So when we took a survey, endline survey of the students, many of them want to say repeat for the same entrance examination, which we see as a massive success. Someone will repeat for an entrance only when they are confident about themselves, right?
Right. They believe they can
They
crack
believe
it.
they can crack it if they give one more try. So we see that as a success. Say traditional entrance coaching institute might not see that as a success, but we see that as a success. Couple of them cracks like some top tier 2 colleges.
Right.
Which is also a success for us. A couple of them do not have the bandwidth to spend one more year. So they want to do some other degree as of now, their backup option, but they still want to do their PG in a reputed institution like the IIM. Mm-hmm. So now this sort of, and now they feel more confident as well. See, initially they were very afraid to ask the doubts to the mentor because they felt like, okay, these people are from IIMs and it'll be, so there's this gap thing, right? But now they are like very easily, I mean, they call them, they used to share jokes as well. I have seen like they sharing cracking jokes and things like that. So it's more of a holistic approach than getting, say, 1% of the batch into tier 1 colleges.
And how do you see this mentor-mentee relationship evolving? Like you might not have thought about it, but how do you see this mentor-mentee relationship evolving beyond coaching? Like, because they already become friends. Sort of in a way, like you talk to them. How do you see that evolving? Like, are you seeing something? Are they like sort of guiding them, especially for people who have not cracked something? Like, do they again fall back on them to get more ideas on what to do next?
Yeah. So while onboarding the mentors, we used to tell them that you are going to mentor the students who are under-resourced.
Okay.
Right. So they are like, okay, we are ready to mentor. But only once they get into the program and start interacting with the students, they understand the ground realities.
Right.
See, before getting into social sector, even I was not having a clear idea about what is this under-resourced or underprivileged.
Mm.
So you have something you have seen in the movies, you have seen in a couple of YouTube videos, but still when you are directly interacting with people who are from such backgrounds, you get a lot of reflections. So one of our academic coordinators of one of the courses, he got into Opengrad Foundation purely because he loves mentoring and teaching. Okay. Not because he was interested in social sector or he want to serve the underserved.
Right.
Because he is purely interested in teaching. But once he got in, he saw that one of his mentees is not joining the calls for subsequent 2-3 sessions. And he inquired about it. And he came to know that that student is working in a vehicle workshop because his brother is ill and he want to feed the family.
Right.
Now, this was a moment of truth for the mentor itself. Because now the mentor understands the empathy of the mentor has improved. Now they are better related to what you call as underserved. And they are more into it as well. I mean, they are more, compassionate about mentoring and things like that. So this is also one aspect which we are able to build in. Mentorship, the thing with mentorship, it's like even though we prescribe a 6 months to 1 year sort of mentorship period, once a mentorship clicks, it will click for a lifetime.
Right.
It's not like, okay, now the Opengrad program is over and now we are going to stop it. No, they are going to take it beyond, say, our program.
Right. And as the platform scale, you will need sort of like mentors for the mentors.
Mentors for the mentors.
Right. Like,
and this is actually happening. So we have completed 2 cohorts of CAT. One cohort we have completed, one cohort it's presently running.
Right.
So the mentors of the first cohort are now in the corporate.
Okay, yeah, they're placed.
They are placed and they are in the corporate. And then there are mentors of the present batch. Now these mentors are getting a lot of inputs from the corporate people who have graduated and got placed, and they are getting a lot of live projects and things like that. So say 5 years into operation of Opengrad Foundation, think about it. Of the total number of people in community, if it's 100, say if there are 100 people in the community, only 20 will be interested in entrance coaching.
Right.
The rest 80 will be the alums or the mentors who have like mentored in the past like couple of years. Now these people have a lot more things to do and bring on the table,
Right.
more than entrance coaching. So any A who is helping B in the community can also believe that there will be some other C who might help them at some point of time in some other ways.
Help who? Like, so there's a mentor who sort of like guided a student for 1 year.
Yeah.
Now that student sort of like cracked an exam.
Yeah.
So you are saying that student also become another mentor.
Yeah. So same thing. A student who was an aspirant, now he cracked into a college or she cracked into a college. Now she is a mentor.
Right.
Right. Now her mentor might have gone into a corporate. They might have got placed and got into a corporate. Now she can get things more than entrance coaching from her mentor.
Right.
Or another mentor who is already in the community. Say they might be sharing some job opportunities in their companies. They may be sharing live project opportunities, or they may be able to connect them to certain people. Yeah. Once they get into college, you also need information regarding the companies that's visiting on campus, etc. So all these things are taken care of by the community.
Yeah. So this is an interesting thing, right? You see, like because we face this issue throughout our life, right? We need counseling during the entrance coaching. Then we sort of like come into the college. Then we sort of need guidance on the placement or the right subjects to take in an MBA.
Exactly.
So
When it comes to MBA, when it comes to UG entrances, I think people will be even more puzzled.
Right.
Because students are going to national level institutions from a tier 2, tier 3 city.
Right.
And they are even more puzzled. And in both these cases, definitely, this is one area where we are trying to facilitate a lot of interaction and a lot of help from the mentors.
Right. So you see this area as evolving, like how you sort of create this sort of like community of mentors who keep in touch with the students and sort of like take them ahead.
Exactly. And we also want to create a community of mentors, as you have rightly pointed out.
Right.
Mentors teaching the students is one. Now mentors helping the mentors is another one aspect which we are trying to bring into the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And have you developed any pedagogy curriculum or what you're learning? Like sort of like, is there any thinking around how to onboard mentors, how to give them? One is the incentive part, but is there anything?
Yeah. So one thing which we have done is, so in order to get a large chunk of volunteers in bulk, it's not easy to go to every student who is studying in a tier 1 or say a good tier 2 college and convince them. So the easy hack which we have found out as of now is to collaborate with the social clubs of tier 1 colleges.
Okay.
So say if you look at any of the IITs, IIMs, NLUs, say top central universities, they all have a social club. And they used to take up similar activities as well. Say they go to schools, they take sessions, they click pictures. But ultimately, not a lot of positive outcomes comes out of it because there is no continuity to the program. Say if you are doing your engineering from IIT, you will be having a lot of things in your plate, right? You will have your placements, you will have your Viva assignments, submissions, you will have to party, you will have your, say, IVs and field trips and things like that. So in between, you will have to find time for going to a school and teaching them. You can do that once in a month. You can do that once in 2 months. But if you ask them to do that in every weekend, I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
And this is what is exactly happening with the social clubs, which is having a huge potential. Think about it.
Right.
The social clubs of tier 1 colleges, it's all like best brains of the country who are ready to volunteer. That's why they join the social club, right? But they are not able to continue their efforts.
Right. So in a way, like they have a time management problem.
They are willing, they have the capabilities, they are ready to volunteer, but they have a time management problem.
Right.
That's where we go to them and we pitch them like Opengrad Foundation, where you can get access to a large number of students. That's also very important, right? I mean, if you are like going to a school, you can only go to a school which is nearby your locality. Say if you are from IIT Kharagpur, you can go to schools in the nearby locality of like Kharagpur. But now from IIT Kharagpur, you can teach a student from Tamil Nadu.
Right.
And now you need not reproduce the content every now and then. Say if you go and teach them, say 2023 you will be teaching students trigonometry, 2024 you will be again going and teaching trigonometry. Now with our platform you teach trigonometry once, that will be recorded, that will be there. You can utilize your time into better use by mentoring the students,
Right.
instead of reproducing the same old content again and again.
So it's all like you're unpacking the mentor-mentee relationship and making it scalable.
Exactly.
Using the platform. So the platform, yeah, as you mentioned earlier, right? The Swiggy is sort of like
Swiggy sort of thing, yeah.
Like there's a large community of potential
mentors in one side.
and they're on potential students.
Exactly.
And your platform plays the matchmaking role. Since
Yeah.
it's technology, it's also like a little bit flexible on the time you do.
Time you do, exactly. That's flexible up to the mentor. So if the mentor want to connect to them on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, we give them guidelines because we need feedbacks from the students as well as the mentors on a bi-weekly manner. That's mandatory.
Right.
So they have to connect at least on a bi-weekly basis. But what we have seen, it's like interactions are happening on a weekly basis, say once in 2 days, whenever, I mean, we have seen like great relations coming out of the mentorship program as well. And we also do one other interesting activity. Regarding English communication, I feel like you alone can improve a lot. So we ask the mentee to record a 1-minute video of them talking on an extempore topic, which will be given to them by the mentor. So the mentor give them a list of extempore topics.
Okay.
The mentee records themselves, talking on a certain topic for 1 minute. And sometimes they send it to the mentor as well, asking for the feedbacks. Right.
Right.
So after say 1 month or 2 months, since smartphone penetration is pretty good in India as of now, these students will have their journey for the past 2-3 months as to how they have improved during speaking. So they can see that in their smartphone itself. So earlier I was stumbling here and there, but now I have improved. So this is also an exercise which has worked well, especially for the students who are preparing for interviews. We have done this. And it has been like very successful.
So this is also part of the mentor-mentee program.
Mentor-mentee program, yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
Sort of like building the soft skills apart from the content.
Apart from the content, yeah.
What made you take the not-profit route? And like you mentioned, you were doing this in IIM Indore already. Like you're anyway teaching students.
Yeah.
But I always feel in this sector like it's a big jump, and anybody who has worked in private sector sort of like to break their journey and go into it, like what sort of trigger and like how did you make it? Like tell us about
Yeah, so that's basically journey towards social entrepreneurship, right? Mostly, yeah. So when I joined IIM, so I'll take you through my school days. So
right.
During my school, I badly wanted to get into an IIT.
Right.
Which didn't happen. So I settled with a state level, government engineering college, which was like decent enough. But my close friend cracked the BITS Pilani Goa campus.
Okay.
And whenever we are going together to certain places, I know the kind of leverages which is getting purely because of the brand.
Right.
And that is not just because of the brand, but it's also because of the exposure they are getting.
Right.
Say IIT, I'll tell you one example. Say BITS Goa is having their festival called Waves. Now, Waves budget is in crores. Now, if you are the treasurer of that festival, Waves, at the age of 18, 19, you will be handling crores of money.
Right.
Now, in my college, the fest budget is around like 15 lakhs. So that's the kind of exposure difference you get from a tier 1. So from that moment itself, I understood that tier 1 is not just about the brand, but there is also a lot of exposure and agency building that happens. That's what we want the students also to experience. So this was always there. So I badly wanted to get into a tier 1 college. So after my UG, I wrote CAT and got into IIM Indore. From IIM Indore, I met my co-founder Shahid. So Shahid was already running an edtech platform while he was in college. So he did his 5-year integrated program. So right after school, he joined IIM Indore. He was the only guy from a normal government college who joined the course. And he, with the help of his own friends from IIM Indore, they were creating videos from IIM Indore dorms, and they were doing that successfully for IPM. Because IPM is a fairly new course. Not a lot of coaching institutes have cracked that. Also, this mentorship element was working well, right? He ran for 3 years. Then MBA happened. Obviously, like MBA initial days will be like very hectic. And he thought like he'll give it back to the social club of our own college.
Okay.
I
am Indore.
I am Indore itself. But that didn't happen. So it was like all the content has been of great quality. It was still there. And I have seen the success of this model. Right. So community model works even at scale. That's what he demonstrated. I did it with 10 people. He did it with like 100, 200 people with IP Math. But
the 10 people you sort of like coaching during MBA days.
During MBA days. But he was doing the same with IPM in a tech platform at scale.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have seen both these things. I mean, from that moment itself, I realized that there's a lot of potential if people of this caliber is coming and teaching the students or mentoring the students. There is a scope for that, and this is a gap. I found the gap right from my college. But obviously, we all come with a lot of education loans. So corporate was the natural choice. So I was working with Samsung for like 1.5 years. And while I was working with Samsung, some of my mentees whom I trained, during my college, they called me back. And they told me how my sort of intervention has changed their lives.
Okay.
Right. So I thought like if I alone, say Sahil as a person alone, can make that sort of an impact in the life of like 5 or 10 people, then what about like the enormous number of people in a country like India who are graduating from top colleges, who are willing to give it back to the community in the form of volunteering? What if we bring them together? So this thought has arisen. But still was not confident enough about a non-profit because, say, even though you study from a B school, there is no exposure regarding social sector.
Yeah.
You have weird ideas about social sector because even I thought like social sector is mostly about you make zero money. You don't have any money, not even salary. Mostly it's like selling poverty sort of thing.
Right. That's the image.
That's the image you have about social sector. You go to roads and you feed people, which are all noble causes. But I was thinking like that's the only way to go about non-profit. But thankfully I came to know about. So like I have since I was not having any idea about the social sector, I went to the Google. I searched for supports for non-profit in India.
Okay.
I just want to understand if there is any scope. And the first one by the SEO was the Nudge Foundation.
Right.
And their application was about to close in like 2 days.
Okay.
So I thought like this is interesting. I went through their portfolio and I understood that there are a lot of organization which has been run by people. So education was a curse for me. I know that more people are going to ask me like why going into this thing after doing an MBA from an IIM? Because you are already getting, say, lakhs of money out there in the corporate.
You're saying education sort of becomes a burden, right?
Becomes a burden.
Right.
But going through the portfolio of Nudge, I understood that a lot of founders are Stanford alums, Harvard alums,
right,
LSE alums, and people of that sort who have come back and they are working in the sector. So I understood that there is something more to it. Social sector is not about like selling poverty, but there are like people who are of great caliber, who are young, who has come to the sector, who has made an impact. So I thought like, okay, now the burden of education, I'll keep it aside. I'll try my hand into this one. So there were like 4 rounds of Nudge Foundation interview, Nudge Institute interview. So the first round, I still remember, the feedback given to me was like, the idea is good and you have the passion, but you don't have any idea about the sector. Okay, this was the feedback given to me. But we really liked that interview because the feedback was very honest. And they gave a lot of insights as to how to prepare for the next round of interview if you get selected. From there, we researched more about the sector and we understood that social sector has a lot of scope in a country like India. And it's very important for more people, young people who are having qualification, who are talented, who can bring a lot of other things into table than merely selling poverty. Say in any of the industries, in any of the sectors, you can contribute as a non-profit, and it badly required the supply of people who are like talented from across domains. So I thought I'll say, even then I was not confident to tell my parents that I want to say move into a non-profit sector, because I was not convinced enough.
Right, at that time.
At that time, say when I was starting the organization. But Nudge Foundation, again, I mean, going for the first, boot camp of Nudge Foundation, I understood that this is a career. I didn't know that social sector is a career, to be honest.
Right, yeah.
And you can't blame anyone, because nobody tells you about all these things unless you are a graduate from a social sector school or something of that sort. But then I got the confidence to tell out to people that, okay, I have resigned from the corporate, I am doing this full time, and I enjoyed every bit of it. In the sense, it's not just about telling the people, but every day you get your own packets of dopamine when your mentees or the people who have benefited from the platform are calling you and telling that because of your platform we have reached here, we have done this, we got placed here, and things like that. So enjoying every bit of it. So that's how the transition happened. So badly wanted to join the tier 1 to not crack in tier 1. Finally that happening, corporate, and then accidentally jumping into social sector, Googling about Nudge Foundation, and finally landing there.
And so you have decided you will take the plunge, you had the boot camp, but sort of like you have a team also, right? Like how did you convince and build the team? Like who are your team members? How was that like?
Okay. So regarding the team, so it's a little tricky, right? I mean, obviously, I was pretty sure that I can't do this alone. I didn't want to do that alone because, one, I was still figuring out. Even though I got the clarity that I can do something in social sector, I was still not having a roadmap as to how to proceed further. So that's when, again, the same Shahid, my co-founder, so he don't like to work with the corporate.
Okay.
Even after MBA, he was freelancing with a lot of companies.
Right.
Mostly like US companies, social media companies, and things like that. And every night from around 12 to 2, we used to discuss a lot of startup ideas, crazy startup ideas, which will never happen. And 99% of the ideas, we know that this will never happen. And the rest 1% which might work, we are like, no, we are not ready for it. So I pitched him this one, and he was like, he was not having this problem of, already working with a corporate or something of this sort. So it was easy to convince him. He has also done his, his EdTech platform back then.
Right. So you already experienced.
Yeah. And secondly, he also ran a small tuition center back in his village.
Still runs it,
a small tuition center.
Right.
Now his friends runs it. He started it when he completed his 12th. Mostly gives like commerce coaching for like around 20-25 students. That's it. But still, he knows the impact of education, what it can create to someone, because he also comes from a similar background. In the sense, he comes from a normal village in Kerala, studying in a government college, government school. And then through some sort of, platforms, he got to know about IPM. He got into IIM Indore. And now he's here, having access to a lot of resources, a lot of capital and things like that. So it was very easy to convince Shahid. Then third, we need, even though I did my engineering, I know nothing about technology, to be honest. I know things about technology, but I am not someone who sits and codes.
Right.
So I wanted someone who is passionate about technology to come and join our team. So Shahid is the thought leader sort of person in our team. I am someone who does the things done. If you want to get in like 200 students by next week, I'll somehow get it done. So I'm that on ground sort of person. But I don't know to think on a say a long term with a long term vision. Shahid is the one who brings that into table, and we wanted a tech person.
Right.
So that's when we met Amit. So Amit is 4-year junior to me in my UG college.
Okay.
So when I graduated, he just joined the college. But we were connected through a tech community called IEEE. Institute of Electronics and Electrical Engineers. It's an international tech organization. So I pitched the idea to Amit. And Amit was like, I think this works. And it was very easy to convince the initial 3. So all the initial people whom we have met was kind of resonating with the idea. But now that's not just it. We need to see that there will be mentors who will be interested to do that.
Right.
So I was randomly checking for, students from tier 1 colleges on LinkedIn. I didn't want to try it out with my friends. My friends might agree because of another reason, because they are my friends. But I want to do it with someone who is a complete stranger. So I texted one of the students from National Law University, Delhi. I talked to her for like 30 minutes. She was in. She started building. At that point, we didn't even have a website. Think about it. Opengrad Foundation, she has no idea about social sector. Opengrad Foundation didn't even have a website. She don't get any money out of it. Just by talking to her for 30 minutes, she was spending time from her busy schedule, and she started creating content for CLAT entrance examination, the CLAT. That's when I realized that now I have a small team ready. Now I also know that the mentors, if you put in the efforts, mentors will also start coming in, because I convinced a person without even having a website.
Yeah.
And without giving money. So that's how it all started. Then it was like a great journey of collaborating with a lot of colleges, collaborating with a lot of non-profits, understanding the sector on the way, getting in more team members. And we now have around a 6-member team. 3 more members joined in from the social sector itself, because all 3 are coming from the corporate sort of things. We wanted someone who is from the social sector as well, so that they can also bring in a different perspective. So we always look for people with complementary skill sets who can bring in something new to the table, and also challenge ideas. We don't want someone who are like very much aligned with their thoughts and actions. We want someone who always challenge and criticize what is being done by the other person, so that we always improve as a team.
And in your 1-year journey, sort of like how you have felt, how has been the reaction of the family, everyone, like, because you are sort of like I'd say social entrepreneurs also, they are entrepreneurs and they are also tackling wicked problems in a way, like you're doing both the things together. Like, what has been the family, friends, how they have taken to it because you have started something?
Yeah, talking about friends and family both, it's like, initially they were thinking like, I'm taking a 2 months, 3 months corporate break, and this is something he will do for like 2-3 months and he'll come back to corporate, is what people thought, mostly my friends. But then once things started getting serious, once we got into incubation programs, and now we have completed 1 year of operations, more students coming in, they understood that we are serious about it. And regarding the family, as I told initially, I was afraid to tell my family because I didn't know how to convince them. But now I feel like the social startup ecosystem is also building in. It's better in India.
Right.
Say there are multiple incubators, Nudge. We have also been part of NSRCL, IM Bangalore. There are organizations like eVault, Dasra, etc., who are like UNLTD India. So all these ecosystems give a lot of exposure. And they also sort of make the social sector cool, right? You network with a lot of like-minded people from the social sector. You have events happening for the social sector organizations. So because of this, the family is also like pretty happy right now. Because, say, I work out of offices, I meet people. Obviously, I create an impact. So there are a lot of fellowships available out there.
Right.
So recognitions are also important. You should not shy away from that. Some people do feel like, might feel like, okay, I do this for the society, so I should not go behind recognition. Going behind recognition is not the right idea. But if they come on the way, this will be a validation for your family and friends, right? At least your family, they might need it more than you. So family is pretty happy right now. Then again, it's the problem with very limited understanding about the sector within the society.
Right.
So most of my friends, even after graduating from B school, they are still, they do still ask me like very wicked questions like, how do you sustain yourself? Where do you get money from? When are you going to start monetize Opengrad Foundation?
Right.
So this is a question I get. So they still have not believed the fact that we are doing it at no cost forever.
Yeah.
They are like, okay, at some point he's going to do that Byju's thing.
Right.
But so it's been crazy, but at least, I mean, we have been able to convince our close circles.
Yeah, it's like always this challenge I've seen, like, what is your personal incentive? Like, community incentive is not taken as your personal
It's not
incentive.
at all taken as,
Like, if it's doing good with the community is not an incentive in itself, what is your personal incentive?
Personal incentive, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, like that question always comes up. And so, like, and how do you see this platform now that it has been a 1 year journey evolving? Like, how do you see beyond coaching? Like, what are your plans for next 2-3 years? Like, how you see this evolving as a big community of mentors, people who are doing? What changes you want to take up next?
So, talking about the evolution of the platform, the way platform has grown over the years, and also understanding more from the grassroots level what the community actually want. We have understood there's a strong language barrier for the students from certain communities to access the coaching.
Okay.
So more vernacular content is one focus area where we are working on. Second, focusing on more entrances as well. Now we are mostly into non-engineering, non-medical entrances, because I mean there are still a little bit of resources available out there for engineering. There are a lot of awareness about engineering. There are still a lot of relatable role models for engineering, but still it's a problem to be tackled. But we'll slowly move into engineering as well, because engineering is also something we want to get into, because we can't rule out the importance of engineering or engineers in our society, right? Definitely there will be takers for engineering. We want to create good engineers for the society. Second, regarding the platform, we want to focus on the other side as well. Say, initially we thought like we'll focus more on coaching, but now it's mostly mentoring. Coaching is obviously there, but mentoring, we realize that is the key value proposition or unique USP of Opengrad Foundation, which only we are offering at this point. I mean, content, there can be thousands of competitors when it comes to content. Many of them might be even better than Opengrad Foundation's content as well. But when it comes to mentors, I believe we don't have much competitors or no competitors as of now. If there are competitors, that will be our success as well, because that's ultimately what we want. I mean, we want more community involvement in the entrance coaching and accessibility to educational institution thing. Third, our focus area will be to create a proper volunteering incentivization structure, not in terms of money, but the mentors also have a lot of things to give and take back. So we need to facilitate a proper channel to make that happen. So that's also one key focus area where we are working on.
Yeah, sort of like mentors also gain something out of helping someone, right?
Exactly.
Like guiding them.
So the joy of volunteering is obviously there when they interact with the students. But think about it. All these mentors are like, say the mentors group are having a student from the National Law University who is good at law, from an IIT who is good with technology, from an IIM who is good with management, from, say, a Central University, SRCC, who is good at psychology. Now, these people coming together and doing something big is always a possibility.
Right.
And that's also something which we want to try out.
Yeah.
Because, say, facilitating a networking opportunity for the mentor community, maybe like some great ideas might come out of it. They might start up and make a huge, say, company out of it, start an institution, something of that sort, yeah.
And they are already funneled for social consciousness because they are part of social club.
Part of social clubs as well.
Like, so different skills, but social club.
Social club is uniting them. The motive of giving back to society is what binds them.
Okay, so Sahil, one question I had was, what do you think are the current issues in the entrance coaching ecosystem and in their perception within the society, which sort of makes you start an organization like Opengrad Foundation? Like, can you tell me about the ecosystem in general?
Personally, see, I will be talking from my personal viewpoints. I mean, this can like completely differ to someone who is like watching this video, but pardon me for that. So I personally feel like entrance is not a great way to select students into good colleges.
Okay.
I personally feel that because say you talk about any of the entrances, I don't think what is being tested in an entrance examination is the ones which are relevant once you get into a college. But still, an entrance examination or a competitive examination is a good metric to understand how hardworking the student is,
Right.
how trainable the student is. Because now the entrance examination or the entrance coaching completely ignore the poor, completely ignore the India 2 or India 3 or the rural part of the country. Someone who is academically bright and brilliant but who do not have awareness, who do not have societal role models, no. Now it is only helping the people who are having access to lakhs worth resources, who are having access to a lot of relatable role models from their own communities, from their schools, who are from cities. They are the ones who are making it. You can see that clear shift in central universities if you look at that. By the introduction of an entrance, that's what's happening. And I don't think this entrance is going to go away anytime soon. It will be there in the system. So instead of blaming the system, we thought, like, there were a lot of people asking us, why are we promoting entrances? I was telling them, I mean, we are not promoting entrances, but tell me what's your alternate solution? I mean, if you are blaming the entrance system, then definitely, I mean, the India 2, India 3, which we talked about, will not get into like good colleges. They will not get access to top quality resource and exposure. They'll be the one who will lose. So we do not want to blame the system because system is in place because of certain things. We are trying to create a parallel system through which even the underprivileged or the under-resourced can be a part of the mainstream process, which the privileged are accessing as of now. We also want to remove this concept of, say, there are certain hubs for coaching, right? Say, JEE, it's like Kota, UPSC, it's Delhi. And we want to remove that system. I mean, that should not be, say, if the government or the education institution are asking everyone in the country to take an entrance examination, then students from everywhere should be having an equal opportunity to compete in the entrance examination as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of regional inequality also, apart from the income inequality.
Absolutely. There are a lot of regional inequalities. There are a lot of like linguistic and different sort of inequalities in the system. I don't think that is meant to be there. But unfortunately, that will come in automatically once a screening of this sort has been in place.
Who can go to Kota? Like somebody's parents who can afford giving them the money to try out an entrance exams.
Exactly, yeah. And we also want to create a system where even someone who is having money are not planning to go to Kota and get all those pressures into their head. But still, they should all feel like, okay, there's a community out there. There is like free resources out there through which they can all prepare at ease.
Without, equally good.
Equally good, yeah.
Thank you everyone for being here today. It was interesting to talk to Sahil Sameer on his Opengrad Foundation model. What he's trying to build is a no-cost coaching platform, which is also a mentor-mentee platform where he is connecting mentors who have access to resources to mentees who do not have access to resources. I think which is very unique model in a way, because we always have this tension between people who want help but cannot get that help, especially when it comes to career, coaching, taking the right decisions, life skills. And we can see that Opengrad Foundation is starting to initially pilot this idea, and will be very interesting to see how it evolves over time. So thank you, Sahil, for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for inviting me. It has been a pleasure talking to you, talking about my journey with Opengrad Foundation. Yeah. And all the best for the podcast as well.
Thank you. Have a great day.